Welcome back to GearCheckGames. This is part 8 of our Metroid Zero Mission playthrough. This is the stealth section. Again, I am joined by Joe, Dan, and Trent.
Hello.
Already we're seeing my issues with this section.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Clear pattern of turning back and forth. As soon as you fall, just like immediately breaks the pattern and whips around to see you.
Yeah, because I think they were trying to go with the whole silent tutorial thing of, showing that, if you get seen, an alarm will be raised. But
yeah.
It still hurts.
I would say that the difference between this and something like Metal Gear is that I feel like in those games they usually do a pretty good job. Yes. And they also do a pretty good job of kind of acclimating you to the area that you're in like a way that feels fair, so that you're not running into situations like that where it's like, oh, I had no way of knowing that if I shot this one block, it would destroy the floor and like put me right in the enemy's line of sight.
We're going to be getting a lot of speed ups in this episode.
This game definitely wants to gear you more towards like really tense chase sequences as opposed to like actual stealth gameplay. Because it's just designed in such a way where like there's no way you could foresee a lot of like that situation right there. You would have to like perfectly time a wall jump to avoid that laser. The way
I'm pretty sure that one is them trying to tutorialize the tripwires, because if you moved past them initially, you might not connect. These are going to set off an alarm.
Yeah, that was close there, dude.
Yeah, the developers here are like, all right, you've been super powered for the first 2-3 hours of the game. Now the gloves are off. Yeah. Good luck.
Time
with
for
this mechanic you've never had.
Shoulder pads are off.
Time for a good old-fashioned kick in the teeth.
Yeah, because on normal mode, these pirates, when you're in Zero Suit, do a lot of damage. In hard mode, oh man, you do not have the room for error.
Well, on normal mode, they take away a full tank with one hit, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Well, and God. I was 3 hits and dead a minute ago, as you saw.
Yeah.
Yep. They are very powerful.
Yeah.
Super Metroid for super players.
So, yeah, I certainly think that it could have used a little bit better tutorialization as we're used to in the earlier parts of the game, but...
Yeah.
Speaking of Super Metroid, this music that's playing right now originated from that game. I believe this played in Criteria.
Yeah, it did.
After you awaken the space pirates, after grabbing the morph ball in your first set of missiles. But I realized recently, because I've been replaying Prime 3 and I finished it about a week ago, they also brought back this theme for the Space Pirate Homeworld. The second half of it. Yeah. I don't even remember that from my initial playthrough, but then again, I played Prime 3 before Super Metroid, so I probably wouldn't have gotten the reference anyway. Yeah. Still a nice touch, though. I like how each of the Prime games has like an area with remixed music from one of the 2D games. Like Prime 1 has Lower Norfair, Prime 2 has Lower Brinstar, and Prime 3 has the first Criteria theme.
Nicely done in that room, Trey.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. The Torvis Bog remix is honestly the better song, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, that remix is second to none. That's one of the best tracks in Prime 2.
Yeah, to me, that is one of the highlights of my playthrough so far, is the entire lower Torvis zone. Mm-hmm. There's not been a dull moment in the bottom of that.
Oh, yeah, with that alpha blog and all?
Yeah, well, yeah, that whole section's, I understood once I died the first time on him. I'm like, okay, this whole section is a gauntlet. Yeah. So I pretty much just have to... You gotta get good, pretty much.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I don't mean to sound mean-spirited here, but it's very rare. I feel, especially nowadays, for Nintendo or game developers in general to prioritize catering to fans of the series of a game series in that way, where they design the sequel to be like more challenging, more demanding, like for people who like have spent time with the first game and really mastered its nuance.
Yeah.
And I feel like the reason a lot of people don't like Prime 2, especially to the extent of the first game, is because it doesn't, it doesn't really make any attempt to like expand its audience like from Prime 1. Like it's just like here's Prime 1 like but harder basically.
Yeah. I can see where people would be turned away from it.
Well, yeah, I totally can. And I'm not saying like every video game sequel should be designed like Prime 2. I just think that it's kind of nice when it happens just because of how infrequent it is. Because I like the challenge of Prime 2.
Sorry.
It's one of the few games I play regularly that's like actually like really satisfying to beat on like a mechanical level just because of how hard it is.
Yeah. Like I'm definitely having a good time with my playthrough. Also, I died back there.
Yeah.
The Defiance was admirable, but you can just outrun these guys.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
But,
Well, there's a mechanic in place here to keep you from like even trying to engage them, because after you fire your security pistol, that little bar up in the upper left-hand corner needs to recharge before you can fire a shot again that'll actually stun one of the pirates.
Yeah.
So it's pretty brutal.
Here we're introduced to the first little bit of stealth. Like, as you can see, the shadows make like a little dark spot there. So that's like telegraphing of like, hey, later on in this bit of the dungeon, like, look for these spots to hide from pirates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there are good and bad spots.
Yeah,
we'll
sometimes they work. Sometimes they don't.
Because, again, like I said previously, the developers are kind of cheeky and will throw you some curveballs.
Mm-hmm.
So this room, I do not like this room. You think it's easy, but it's a dick.
The searchlights are tough.
It looks to me like one of those parts where, like, if you choose to play it slowly, it's not too bad. But any attempt to like rush through, and you're gonna slip up inevitably.
I will have to say that this area is probably my favorite design of all the areas.
Oh, the Chizodia?
Yep.
Yeah. Chizodia, the forbidden one.
Mm-hmm.
That joke came back. I'm excited. I'm happy now.
Did we already make that joke?
In part 1.
Crap.
Oh. He returns.
That's what we call bookending, ladies and gents, even though this isn't the last part.
Did you see how far away he saw me?
Yeah.
What is this, NES 3?
Pretty much.
I think my main problem with this like whole section is that like I'm fine with having parts where like you have to get caught because it's like a chase sequence, but there doesn't really ever seem to be. Well, there's plenty of cases where there doesn't seem to be a rhyme or reason to it, like that part before where you're like going through the part and then space pirates just fall from the ceiling. Sure, whatever. Or like the part before where like there's a space pirate up on the ledge, but like you couldn't see that there was anyone up there without jumping up in range to get caught first.
So I do want to make notes here that
with that eye right there.
Yeah. So that's what I was about to talk about. So the thing with the eye there is actually a recording bug. Those search beams never go away. Just with the frame rate, the frame rate misses them every time.
Yeah, that's weird because I recorded and played this at 1080 60. So I don't know if one of my settings was off or something. Oh yeah, you're about to see me get trolled.
Yeah. So this is one of those curveballs.
Yep.
This area loops around, so the space pirate's able to come and find you.
Killed you? My God.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they do two E-tanks worth of damage.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm saying, like that's a situation where it's like it's funny like as just a one-time thing, but it's at this point it's like, all right, yep, this is just how things are.
Yeah.
You pretty much just have to trial and error this shit.
Yeah. It definitely, to kind of give it some credit, it does kind of feel like the pirates are getting wise to your tricks in some ways.
Yeah.
Like they tease you with that one that one little alcove you can hide in, and then they give you another one, and this time the pirates are able to discover you. I actually didn't know they could crawl in from the left, from stage left, let's just say.
Yeah.
Usually he just turns around and shoots me when I try to hide up there. Because I always forget.
So those eyes, they can see Samus's hair if it's sticking out above, or her foot if it's sticking out below. And that does get me.
I remember the foot thing.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a nice touch, personally. Because they do make it very clear that your foot is exposed.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing is like, I think there was a lot of good ideas in this section, but it feels like it was near the, end of development time, and so they had to rush some things.
Well, that's
it feels like a stealth section made by people that don't know how to make stealth.
Yeah. Hey, at least
like that.
You know what, Dan?
Oh, that freaking part where, like right there. I would have been perfectly fine with that part if you could see like a little crawl space on the left.
Yeah.
You're like, wait a second.
Yeah.
But it's just a Metroid wall.
Yeah. You know, Dan, you say it's a stealth section I keep screwing up my. Designed by people who don't know how to design stealth sections. At least it's not a story written by somebody who doesn't know how to write stories.
Yeesh.
Fair point.
So this is the spot you were supposed to get to, but if you saw the small shadow bed, then that also works.
Yep.
So here's a point. How do you guys feel about them?
I like his pose up there.
Yeah, drumming like one of your
Come
French
get my power up,
chozo.
Samus.
I'll just interrupt you here real quick, Joe, because tidbit about that. So even if you use hacks to put yourself in the area to get that power bomb, it's actually not coded as a pickup and is just a sprite.
Oh, so
So
they
even
thought
with
ahead.
hacks, even with hacks, you can't get it.
The eyes are immune.
Isn't there something like that in Skyward Sword where I don't know. I forget the specific instance, but I think it has something to do with the lava area, where even if you hack yourself in, there's still a failsafe to make sure you don't go into areas where you're not supposed to be. And I mean, fair enough. I'm not gonna fault them for debugging their game, but
yeah.
We'll talk about Skyward Sword when it's time to talk about Skyward Sword. Anyway, what I was saying earlier is this entire section, from after we climbed into the ship, was not in the original Metroid. This was all added for the remake. How do you guys feel about them? How do you guys feel about them adding this addendum to the game?
Wow.
That room is extremely difficult to get through without being detected.
One try, baby.
Nicely done. I enjoy the addendum because, like I said, I think Chozodia's design is superb and brings in a contextualization of the Chozo that is extremely well done.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to get up this wall, but there's a roadblock up ahead, so it's pointless.
Oh.
But hey, the fact that you can do it is nice.
Oh yeah.
Plus, you're also discovering missile blocks for the developer-intended shortcuts through the area if you don't have some of the power-ups. Since you can skip a lot of the, quote-unquote needed power-ups, they needed to put in missile block routes because you wouldn't have screw attack, you wouldn't have there's a speed booster. So, you can get through the entire game without screw attack or speed booster.
I would not want to. I like playing the game as intended.
Well, it is intended because that's how you unlock the 15% completion rewards.
Oh my god.
You have to skip some of those items.
That 3 people on Earth have seen.
I'll see it eventually, but I'm not quite there yet.
By the way, if you're one of those 3 people and you're watching this, we're sorry.
Yeah, we're sorry you wasted your time.
Wow.
I wouldn't call it a waste of time.
Throat, Trey.
I'm going to be doing it.
Yeah, we're sorry you wasted your time watching our videos.
Aww. Our subscriber count goes from 12 to 3.
Dan with the returning fire.
We unsubscribe from ourselves.
And,
oh yeah, it's boss time.
Yeah. So there's no official name for this boss as far as I'm aware, but the community will refer to things as like the test or like the orb test.
Mm-hmm.
I call him
orb
Chozo's
test.
Ghost. He's a big meanie.
And so this is actually bringing in some of the story points that were established in the manga
It's
with Samus
back
being
when she was a young anime child.
being raised by the Chozo after the death of her parents to
Now
the hands
she's
of Ridley.
hot.
Yeah.
I'll take myself out by.
See you, Trey.
And if you notice, this Chozo is
Same time
wearing
next week.
a power suit similar to what Samus had.
Fight yourself.
Yeah.
So what'd you guys think of this boss? I think it's kind of unique and cool, honestly. Like it's not that hard, but I feel like it's I don't know, just because of like where it is in the game and how weak and vulnerable you are, it has like a good sense of tension to it. And also, I think on like a sort of like a metaphysical level, I think it's cool that like, and kind of clever that like it holds like an image of you that damages you when you shoot it. Like I don't know. And well, okay, maybe it's hard
Or
for
when it
some
shoots
people. Smoked him.
He is on hard mode where it does nearly a full E-tank of damage every time. Honestly, I would actually kind of disagree. Like, while I think it's certainly a unique boss, mechanically it feels a little rushed.
Well, there's not really much mechanically you can do at this point, though. You just kind of have your security pistol.
Right, but there's no platforms in the room. The progression isn't exactly anything more than it speeds up.
I don't know. To me, this was always meant to be more of a set piece. So, I don't know. I can kind of forgive the more simplistic gameplay.
Are you guys seeing how close I am?
I know
Frame-wise.
it's horribly frustrating.
Like there's
It's a very. Did you finish what you were saying?
I was gonna say there's been 2 times already where I have grazed a pixel of my own foot with that thing.
Yeah.
It's a very weird take on the like fight yourself trope in video games, like in Symphony of the Night and Zelda 2, where you're like fighting a shadow. Well, it's Zelda 2 where you're fighting like a shadow version of yourself, and Symphony of the Night where it's like some kind of creature that's like mimicking your form or whatever, and comes out of a mirror. But here it's just like it's definitely not like really fighting yourself. It's like,
well, I'll go ahead and actually kind of cut in here. Sorry to interrupt you, Dan. But, so if anyone remembers some of the logbooks from Prime 1, it is also kind of, Samus fulfilling her prophecy to the Chozo. Because, it was said she will become the hunter. Because of note, this is where we get the, iconic shoulder pads Varia suit rather than the recolor that we got earlier in the game.
Oh yeah, you know what? I actually never noticed that. I guess I just was distracted by the color change of the gravity suit, because well, I guess we'll see that once we finish this fight, so I'll just save it for then. On that note, while Dan was talking about this boss, the setup of this boss fight, it made me remember something I guess I had repressed from my childhood. Do you guys remember Bubble Boy?
No.
Bubble Boy?
Okay,
you mean that movie about the guy, the guy that's been living in a bubble all his life because he's like, yeah.
Because that's what this is reminding me.
I forgot. Was that an Adam Sandler movie or?
I don't remember.
Seems like it seems like a premise for that would fit in the Adam Sandler saga.
All I remember is that it was on TV one day. There was a boy and a bubble, and like he had like grabby arms, like that could so he could like manipulate things outside the bubble.
What kind of
I don't know. I'm sure it was a cinematic classic for the ages.
It was like It was like a immune system disorder or whatever, where the bubble was to keep him from getting sick.
Oh yeah.
Or to keep germs from getting into him. And
Did you?
to keep vengeful Chozo ghosts from getting to him.
Oh yeah, this is the part where I get mad because I've lost a lot.
Oh yes, as evidenced by the.
This is the fury of Samus making itself appear.
What is? Oh, Trey, the aspect ratio. Why?
She's chunky.
yeah.
You know how I am about aspect ratio.
A 1080p image over
What the fuck?
4x3.
Oh no, I said it again. Crap.
You can't get away from it.
Oh
Can't escape your
no.
fate.
How to beat this stupid boss.
So is there like a lore reason to explain
Why the Sesame
there's,
Street
like,
characters are singing?
Well, that too. But to explain why there's like a tiny little reflection of you inside the crystal ball,
The way that was framed, I love it.
and like,
Other than-
it hurts you if you shoot it.
Other than the
It's
lore
like
that I reached for, not really.
It's like a magical illusion, Dan.
Uh-huh. There's nothing about like she has to overcome something about herself or.
I mean, it is kind of her regaining her confidence after being basically defeated, after thinking that she won.
Yeah.
Because this is, her first mission.
I guess.
Think you're tough shit and fight these aliens.
Actually, I think you'll find it's her zero mission.
There it is.
He said the
If
name of
you-
the game, he gets an award.
If you look at the box art, you'll find that that's what it says. So,
Well,
that was
you
easy.
see, I, in fact, bought my
sorry, pal.
my copy of Zero Mission used from GameStop.
Oh.
So all
Oh
I
no,
got
it's
was
got
the
the
card.
Varia suit too.
Super
Fiend.
sexy transformation sequence, go!
It's her magical girl transformation.
You know what Metroid was always missing? Sailor
some
Moon
anime music over that.
transformations.
And so, particularly back to the game, this is where the unknown upgrades get revealed and integrated into the suit. So now we get Plasma, a beam that can go through multiple enemies, Gravity Suit, which allows movement in water, and Space Jump.
Yeah, thank God they retconned all these helpful abilities from Super Metroid in at the 11th hour.
So,
I kind of like it because like it gives you that like moment of like, oh, I'm ready to kill stuff.
right, especially after the
this
stealth
is super. Yeah, this is super cathartic.
because now you can just blast through all of the space pirates that had been doing a massive amount of damage to you.
Yeah, but they still take out half of an energy tank when they hit you.
Yeah,
on
even
normal
more so
mode.
in hard mode.
Right, but the delay in them shooting is so low that you really shouldn't be being caught by it.
Well, we'll find out what happens to Samus next time. No death run. Let's do it.
No death.
Yay.
I have nothing but faith in you, Trey, that you won't let us down. You won't leave in anything that doesn't need to be kept.
No promises.
I guess we'll just have to see for ourselves.
See you on Monday.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.